When it comes to sealing any type of pipe thread, using a tape like this can be a great choice, but unfortunately, most people believe that more is better. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because your average DIYer uses this tape incorrectly nearly every time. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use this tape properly on everything from copper and brass and from stainless steel, even plastic. I'm going to teach you how to use this pipe thread like a pro every time you use it. Here's one of the most common ways people mess up. They go too far up the threads. Now, it's okay to cover pretty much every part of it, except the first two threads. The first two threads have a greater taper that makes assembling easier. If you cover them up with tape, you're not only going to get in the way, it will mess up the course of the threads. And even the extra tape can break off on the inside of the pipe, and something like a dishwasher or any other appliance that have a water source, it could cause a clog. Before you even start this job, you might want to spend a few extra minutes on prep. Go ahead and grab something like a rag, a toothbrush, and scrub those fittings until they're clean. You're trying to get any buildup or shavings that will interfere with your tape. Before you apply the tape, always remember the number one golden rule. You can only use plastic bristles on plastic and metal fittings, but you can't use metal bristles on plastic fittings. Now, it can actually be handy to use a metal bristle for buildups, but if you use it on plastic, it will create a micro scratch that can cause a leak. Another common mistake is putting the tape on backwards. You can wrap this tape anywhere you want, but you will be doing it wrong. The tape should be wound in a clockwise direction. Of course, this wouldn't apply if the pipes had reverse threads. I know many people will say that they've done it wrong, but they still got a good seal. When you look at the tape and you see that it's pointing towards you, if you're threading on the female part, it will actually be fighting against the tape. You would notice that the fitting on the tape will bundle up and push away from the threads, and that's what you don't want. I'm going to show you how to do this job like a pro, and here's an extra tip. Start your tape from the back of the fitting in a clockwise direction. You want to keep your finger on the tape and spin it in a clockwise direction, and this will create a bit of tension. So much easier to do if you're starting at the back. You'll want to wrap that fitting up to the two threads, and then I will go backwards twice around the fitting until I reach the back. Now, sometimes I will use a lot more tape if I have an old or really damaged fitting. Now, adding more tape does not give it a better seal. Actually, if you're using it in newer pipes and if you have a lot of tape, it will make it harder for you to twist on the threads. Here's a shower head I installed using this Teflon tape. Notice that I'm recognizing which direction that the thread is going to go in, stretching out just enough tape to get me started, and then rotating the Teflon tape on the threads in a clockwise motion, making sure that I don't go past that 2 thread mark, using the actual neck to spin to make sure that I get an even amount and that it's not kinkled up. Now, before I install this neck, I want to make sure that the female fitting is clear from any old Teflon. As I'm twisting it on, making sure that I'm not cross threading, using my pliers to tighten it up snug tight. Also, to make sure that I'm not over tightening. Here is my cover plate that I'm putting on the neck. Now that that's slipped on, notice that I'm adding Teflon to the holder for the shower head. Same process, applying it in a clockwise motion, leaving that 2-course thread in the front of it. This would be a good time to mention, I did recently make a video on how to install a toilet. If you haven't seen that, check that out after this video. Now that I have the Teflon on, I'm going to install the holder for the shower head, turning this in a clockwise motion as well. Also going to be careful not to over tighten and making sure that the Teflon is not getting wrapped up. Last thing on the neck that needs to be Teflon is the thread where the hose connects to it. And I'm doing this in a counterclockwise motion because I'm going to be twisting on the head in the counterclockwise. Now, this is the last part that need Teflon. It did come with some rubber washers that are pressed inside. You will also need to add Teflon to this area, but this is the last place that needs it. Once you get it covered, you can hand twist it on and then tighten it up with some pliers. And then you're going to want to connect that bottom part to the extension on the bottom. This is counterclockwise, and you'll have yourself a leak-free shower head. If this video helped you out, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're into DIY projects like this, go ahead and subscribe. I got a lot more coming. Got questions or ran into an issue during your install? Drop a comment below. I'll try to respond to everyone. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.